Okay, do you guys see the box for recording?
Yeah.
Yeah, so please accept. This will go on YouTube, so in case there's any information that you might have missed, you can always replay it. And we're also trying to make use of that EOP YouTube channel, so let's get it right. Okay, so welcome everyone to our Ask Me Anything Dentistry series. I'm so excited. My name is Julia Hall. My pronouns are she, her, and hers. I am one of the EOP advisors here at SF State. And today we're gonna have a couple of speakers, but first I would like to introduce you all to Christine Lee. Christine Lee is actually the president of the SF State Pre-Dental Society. And so I would like her to talk a little bit about the Pre-Dental Society and also to introduce herself. So Christine, if you're here, if you can unmute yourself.
Hello, hi everyone.
Hi, Christine.
Hi.
Hi, it's nice to meet everyone. My name is Christine, so I'm the president of Pre-Dental Society at San Francisco State. And so right now I'm actually a student in the pre-health professions post-bac program. So I joined PDS last fall when I became a student here, and I really loved it so much, so I just wanted to get more involved. And I just want to thank Julia for inviting me here today to introduce our club. Okay, so I'll just be telling you guys a little bit more about the benefits of joining PDS. So PDS is pretty much an informational and resource center for our SFSU students who are looking to apply to dental school and pursue dentistry as a profession. And so just some things that our members gain: we give insight on information about different volunteer opportunities and also upcoming dental events. So usually we send out email blasts containing information about upcoming events or like volunteering opportunities. So we really recommend that you get on our email list. Excuse me. So our general meetings, we usually have general meetings about once a month. Right now we are not sure when they will be taking place for fall, but we are looking to be resuming them in the spring. And so from in the past, we have had speakers such as various dentists come and talk about topics that they're really passionate about. We've had dental student Q&A panels, and we've had speakers come and provide information about different scholarship opportunities. And so we have a lot of interesting topics in our general meetings. And so we like to advertise PDS because I believe that it can be used as a really good networking and support system for other pre-dental students. And so usually like our members like to go to the pre-dental events together. And so this kind of gives us an opportunity to like get to know each other outside of school and just kind of hang out and really bond. And so that's all I want to say. Please feel free to reach out if you guys have any questions or want to know more about a membership. I think our information is in the Dentistry Resource guide. So
yes, it is, as well as the form in case you are interested in joining. They have a membership form as well through Google Forms.
Yes, we do. Thank you so much.
And a Facebook group.
And a Facebook group. And
which is where I found them.
Yeah, so that's all I wanted to say. Thank you guys for listening.
Thank you. Okay, so thank you so much, Christine, for sharing about the PDS. So if you are interested in dentistry, definitely check them out. They're also based in SF State, obviously, so that's a really cool resource. I also want to introduce some of my colleagues who are here. So if Kim and Noe can also introduce themselves.
No, you're gonna okay. Okay. Hi, I'm Kim. My pronouns are she, her, hers, and I'm another one of the academic advisors with EOP.
Yo, everybody. My name is Noe. I am the Summer Bridge and Mentor Program Coordinator. So if anyone here is an incoming student, I'll see you soon. But in general, I work here. I can just help you with anything. Just hit me up. But mostly I do the mentor program, which is essentially I hire students to help other students with, you know, some of the common things like class registration or just having fun and social events. So you'll see us be more active this summer and leading into fall. So we hope to see you around in the other events too.
And also, if you have any questions about EOP or about going to school here at SF State, feel free to ask us. We want this to be an open space. We are focusing on dentistry, but also we're here for anything you need. So please, in the chat or later when we have the open AMA, feel free to ask anything. Okay, so now our esteemed guests. So we have two guests here with us today. I invited them because one of them happens to be my brother, in case we don't look alike and you can't tell by our last names. So the reason I wanted to do one on dentistry is because a lot of students are interested in dentistry, but they don't know where to start, right? And so a lot of our EOP students, being low income and first generation college students, we often don't have that access that a lot of other students might have. So I thought an AMA series would be really awesome, just to invite folks from around the community to come in and share their experiences, and to connect our students with folks in the industries that they are interested in. So before we begin, I just wanted to point out that everyone should be muted at this time. During the AMA, please feel free to unmute yourselves and ask questions, but at this time, just because we want to make sure we can hear everyone, if there's like a train going on outside, an airplane, whatever it is, fireworks, right? We just want to make sure we can hear everyone. And also there are, you know, like those little feedback things at the side. So like the clapping hands, thumbs up. I love all those. I love feedback. So please use them. And again, our chat is available. If you have any questions, please pop them in the chat and we will try to get to them when we get to the AMA. Okay. So now I would love to introduce our speakers. So first off, Andrew again is my brother. He and Rubin both go to UCSF. They are fourth year dental students. They are both from the Bay. And so I would love for you both to first introduce yourselves, like maybe tell us a little bit about where you grew up, specifically in the Bay, how you got interested into dentistry, just a little bit of background so our students get a feel of who you are, like what your interests are, things like that.
Andrew, go first.
I was going to say the same thing to you. Okay, so I was born in Oakland, pretty much grew up in Alameda for a good part of my life, and then got shipped off to a Buddhist boarding school in Ukiah in the middle of nowhere with my sister. And then I didn't feel that I was too ready for, like, you know, 4-year university, so I ended up going to a community college. I went to Anza in Cupertino for 3 years, just because, you know, at community colleges, a lot of the courses are impacted. It's hard to get those classes unless you are like, unless you have a lot of the units, your priority. A lot of times you're not. And Anza taught me a lot about perseverance. Difficulty level wise, I mean, it's comparable. Like it's pretty comparable to UC Davis, at least, where I ended up going. Maybe not comparable to UC Berkeley, but like it was pretty good, pretty same leveled. You're just sort of trying to advance, and a lot of these classes that you take are weed classes, trying to make sure that you're right for the profession or can handle that amount of load that you're gonna have in dental school. But yeah, in terms of dentistry, I have like a aunt who practices in San Jose. She's my dad's cousin, so not like direct aunt, but she sort of got me interested in the field, made me realize that you know, dentistry can be a very fruitful profession. Sort of lines up with the values that I want, sort of being very versatile in creating your own business eventually, managing your own time, developing all these relationships with people, and caring for them at the same time. So that really sort of made me think about dentistry, and then I started to sort of move towards that path while I was at Anza. Yeah.
Thank you. Rubin?
What a wise man. So I am Rubin Sorrell, second, born and raised in San Francisco, California, 4th generation resident. Went to the school, high school, middle school, elementary school, all in San Francisco, Baby Hunters Point. When I getting into dentistry, UCSF came to a Black Student Union meeting in 10th grade, and it kind of sparked the mind. All I knew in high school was I knew I was supposed to go to college. You know, that's just the general track to, you know, for that time. And really no mentors. Nobody had been to college at the time from my family. And I was just trying to figure it out. And when I kind of dived deep into dentistry, it kind of went with my principles. Dentistry is something that it's a job to where you have the skills in your hands and in your mind, and a corporation or a big business can't technically take that away from you. You're not endlessly searching for a job for a specific job field. There's always going to be somewhere you can hire yourself. Also, it's a lot of different alleys you can go into. You go into consulting, you can go into the jails, you can go into insurances, you can go into teaching. So many things to do with dentistry, what does not require you to have long-term back and hand and neck problems. And that really just how many different ways I could utilize this profession, and the DDS rang bells with me. And so I went to HBCU, North Carolina A&T, had no mentors again, so I ended up luckily going to San Francisco State Dental Post-Bacc, and here I am.
Alumni, SF State alumni, y'all.
Present.
Yes.
Hey.
Okay, so what I really love about the both of you is that you weren't just driven by your personal dream of becoming a dentist, but also this call to service. So can you talk a little bit about the communities that you're part of and that you want to advocate for, especially working in San Francisco, where you are basically serving your hometown communities, right? Like what that is like, and the meaning and significance that holds.
Rubin's got
I'll take this one now.
Yeah,
We'll just switch off. So again, from Baby Hunter's point, there's not any representation from me. I've never seen, until I got into the dental field, I didn't never see a dentist that looked like me. And now, just through my journey trying to become a dentist, I've had a significant impact on my community. And really, when I started to make my reason why and profess that in like a dental school application and kind of live that truth, is how I really got into dental school. It wasn't like the cookie cutter, go to Kids Give a Smile Day, go do this and get this score and you're gonna get in for sure. It's not like that. I applied 2 other times and didn't get in. And it wasn't until I really made my application about me, got real mentors, and really focused in on what is my why. And that's really an important thing. Whatever occupation you go into, you gotta, be able to answer what is that why on an everyday basis. And I finally did that.
I also wanted to point out that Rubin is the founder of Robin Hood Project, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're an organization that brings oral hygiene to the local community. It's really awesome. Also, in an interview that you gave a while back, I wanted to read this quote because I thought it was so powerful. You said that it is extremely important for our children to see people who look like themselves when they walk into professions that they wish to be in. How can we tell our children you can be a doctor, dentist, or lawyer if they don't see any Black doctors, dentists, or lawyers in their hood? It is a scientific fact that people are more comfortable going to physicians of their same ethnic background. Children need to see that there are Black men in the field of dentistry. Can you very quickly tell us about the Robin Hood Project?
Dental Robin Hood. So now it's Dental Robin Hood. Right now, I'm currently in the processes of making it a 501c3 nonprofit. So just waiting for that to come back. It's going to take 6 months with all the paperwork and everything like that. But so, as I said, on my journey, on my second time not getting into dental school, I was just like, this isn't working for me. Like trying to do what everybody else is doing, going to the post-bacc and just literally just trying to, as I said again, do the cookie cutter way. It didn't make sense. So I just thought so one day I made up this sheet with dental tips, and on the back of it was free or reduced services. And then I went to like the dollar store, got like 200 toothbrushes and toothpaste and stuff like that. So wrapped them all together. And then I went in my neighborhood, door to door, and I started knocking on doors. That manifested to my master's program. A part of it was the anomaly program, where it's like a moving workshop where we just told about all the occupations in dentistry outside of being a dentist, being a dental assistant, dental technician, dental hygienist, dental office manager. Because what I had seen in my community is that people fell in love with dentistry when it was not too late, but after they had went through all of the retail jobs, had a kid, and now they wanted some sort of substantial and meaningful paycheck. They had a little bit of school, they found their love in dentistry. And I just wondered, why don't we do it in the opposite way and expose, these communities to these occupations before they get in the bind or before they feel like they're back against the walls. And then we also did the Cut and Care Initiative, which is going to all the beauty salons and barbershops when they were open, and gave out telltale signs of oral cancer and also toothbrushes and toothpaste and stuff like that. So that's what we're doing. That's what we continue to do, and where the vision's getting bigger.
That's really awesome.
Thank you.
Same question to
Awesome.
Andrew. So in case y'all don't know, Andrew and I are both Chinese Vietnamese Americans. So both our parents are actually Vietnamese boat people. They came to the United States in 1980 and 1981, escaping their country by boat, and then coming to the United States after seeking asylum. So that was actually a huge part of Andrew's personal statement essay.
Yep.
So I also wanted to pose the same question that I asked to Rubin about how that community aspect informs not only your motivation toward dentistry, but also how it informs your practice.
Yeah. So, I mean, a lot of boat people that had to leave Vietnam, they didn't have, any proper access to dental care either. And in Vietnam, from what I've heard from my mom and stuff, not personally, but a lot of the dentists, quote unquote dentists there, some of them are sort of like learning through the family trade, sort of learning by their family trade. That sort of, there's sometimes a disconnect when that happens, just because you're just learning what your dad knows, but you're not learning anything new in terms of any evidence-based dentistry, which is what UCSF really focuses on, and I think pretty much all dental schools in the U.S. Focus on. We're not trying to do anything extra in the terms of we're not sure that it's going to work. We might try to do a treatment, propose a treatment where it may be a little more risky, but there's evidence backing up that risk. We're not going to try to do anything too crazy that we have no idea what the outcome will be. A lot of the job that we do now, or me and Rubin as fourth years, we try to do the most predictable procedures. We don't want to try to do heroic dentistry, like too heroic dentistry. I mean, if the tooth is gone and they want to try to do anything to save the tooth, there are certain criteria that we have to sort of oversee in order to fix that tooth. If those criteria aren't there, it's not going to be good if we fix that tooth and say 2 days later it comes off. They're going to be so mad that they wasted all that time, and then we're going to feel bad because it's a reflection of our work and our decision-making ability. So I think a lot of it's trying to learn that there's all this evidence out there and sifting through the good, sifting through the bad, and really trying to learn for yourself. And since a lot of my parents' generation and a lot of the boat people, they didn't have any proper education in dental care. By the time a lot of my family members, by the time they were 20 or 30, they've lost most of their teeth. They're already in complete fake teeth on the top, full dentures. They maybe only have a few teeth on the bottom and then have a removable denture. And it's, to me, it like struck a chord, you know? It's not okay to have that, especially with the opportunities we have here in the US to get educated now. There's like internet, there's Instagram, there's all these things that really can carry that message of how to have proper oral hygiene. And all it takes from us is a little bit of talking to, you know, the people, the masses, and really educating people. We're not trying to like throw our education in anybody's face. We really want what we say to really resonate with the person. You know, we're not trying to like force anything on you. We just want to tell you our reasoning, and hopefully the outcomes of, you know, good hygiene, keeping your teeth will keep you happy throughout life, allowing you to, you know, enjoy all the things you enjoy if you're a foodie and stuff. But yeah, a lot of my family had not great dental work or dental IQ, what we use a lot. So I wanted to change that, and for my community, I also wanted to try to be the change there. Yeah.
Thank you. So you both are currently beginning your 4th year at UCSF, one of the top dental schools in the country. However, both of you took very different paths to get there. Can you tell us a little bit about your individual journey? So not only the academic portion, the academic portion. So like which schools you went to, how long it took you to get into dental school. I know Rubin mentioned that he applied multiple cycles. Can you share a little bit about that?
Of course. Don't be discouraged. Me and Rubin were both reapplicants, okay? And trying to reach that stage through all the failures and people saying, no, you're not gonna make it, really pushes you to that point where you might think that you're not gonna make it, but if you put in the work, and you show the school through your personal statements, through your, you know, your extracurriculars, and especially like the interview process, they can really see how devoted you are to the profession, no matter your scores. I mean, I didn't have great scores. I took the DAT twice. Subpar scores, you know, not UCSF levels or UCLA levels. But it's really that perseverance. I started at Anza, took 3 years there. Everybody transferred out at 2 years, and I felt like, you know, man, what am I doing wrong, you know? But if you're pursuing any type of health education or anything that's like impacted majors, you're gonna run into those problems where you might not graduate in time, and it's okay. It's okay to take the detour. Don't be discouraged by it. Yeah, for sure. Go your own pace. Do your own thing, but work towards that goal, and don't give up. Maybe if it's, I mean, there's obviously a time to give up, but like after 2 or 3 times, man, just keep going. See how much growth you have in yourself, because it's all about the journey. That's what Rubin says. It's all about the journey, man. So after 3 years at Anza, I went to 2 years at Davis. I still didn't get like a you know, tremendously good GPA. I was under a 3.5. I had probably overall from Anza and Davis, my GPA was a 3.1, 3.2 maybe. I know, not great. My DATs were subpar. I worked hard, retook the DATs to try to bring it up to normal, above 17s. And even the second time I got a 17 in reading comprehension, even though my sister's like a English wizard over there. I did not get that. My English is a little subpar. But, you know, the schools still really look at you from a holistic standpoint, especially UCSF. I think dental schools are so fickle about who they accept. Even we don't have any idea. And I interview students. Rubin, you interview students too? You didn't interview, but I interviewed students and all our pre-dents, and then I still have no idea what they're looking for. They can tell us generally, yeah, this is what we're looking for, but you know, it's really, really up in the air. Does that answer your question?
Perfect.
All right.
Thank you. Rubin?
Man,
Same question.
what a great guy right there. Once I graduated high school, I went to, now, once you, this is why I'm always big on like mentorship and somebody who's came before you and somebody, because I just didn't know anything, you know. Now, when I'm looking back, college has to be used as a middle ground. Like, it's going to be the place where I know I'm going to network. I know this place has a good program for this. I know this is a feeder school for this. You have to know what the school is bringing to you, opposed to you just wanting to be there. You know, me, I just seen a school name. I know I wanted to go, and that was that. And so from there, I didn't have any knowledge. I literally found out about, you know, applying on the AdSAS in a random like meeting, you know. And so it wasn't a big school that had a big pre-dental community. So from there, I'd applied. I'm thinking it's like, you know, undergraduate application. So I just do it last minute. You know, I got check off all the boxes, and I didn't get in, obviously. And so I had to take a step back. So luckily, Loma Linda was like my last school, and I'm looking on their website, just hoping for some sort of something. And they have on the website, like, oh, if you don't get in, you can apply to our post-bac program. And I'm thinking to myself, Loma Linda's not a premier dental school, so this couldn't be a one-on-one thing. And so I just Googled dental post-bacs. And then I got into SF State dental post-bac. And so from there is where the mentorship kind of put into play, telling me, you know, this is the GPA that, you know, is required. This is the type of studying that you need. These are the type of places where you should volunteer. These are the numbers where you should have shadowing hours. These are the people you should talk to, you know. And if you're really into a field, then you're going to be surrounded by people that are in the same field, that are working for the same thing, just naturally. And that's what happened. So from there, I did the dental post-bac until 2014. Then I applied, but I wasn't ready. You know, I was just trying to go off what everybody else in the post-bac was doing, and not really going off of, you know, my personal track, and not thinking about, well, this is the way that everybody does it, so this is the way I should do it. And that proved to be my detriment. And, you know, for those, Andrew knows, once you apply, that's a year loss. Like, a complete year is gone from your life, that where you thought the next year, you planned for the next year, you was going to do something else. And so not only did you lose a year, but you lose an additional year that you want to apply. And that's if you apply back to back, which something I didn't do. When I applied, I always took like a year in between. So now we're talking an additional year. So once I told you guys, I was just like, this isn't working. Like, so I just took it upon myself, and I ended up getting a master's in public health with a dental emphasis, started Dental Robin Hood, and just made it about myself. And why am I really trying to be a dentist? And, you know, who am I really trying to touch? And, you know, as Andrew said, UCSF, you know, and my scores were just like, to me, average. Like, you know, my undergrad was like 3.0, and then my postbac was like 3.67, and then like DATs was like 19. So, you know, I felt like I was just like, you know, just middle of the run. And what set me apart was just my personal story. And that's the thing that UCSF really takes pride in, you know, especially when your personal story goes with that school. I'd also got into Case Western, and I had an interview with them the first time I didn't get in. And this is going to go, Andrew's going to know about this. You don't know, when you get an interview matters. Like, you know, you can already assume if you're gonna get in or not. It's a good chance if you having a, so the first acceptances go out December 1st or first Monday of December. And if you don't have at least an interview before then, you can already see where you're falling into the place of application. You know, it's that cut and dry. And I really didn't think about it when I had my interview. It was like in March or April. I wasn't getting in. So, but you got to, you know, keep those relationships. And if somebody brought you in for an interview, they brought you in because of something that they liked, and ended up getting in both of them because I just kept that, kept those good relationships regardless of it. You know, those people who I met, I still, you know, said thank you, still sent thank you cards, still, you know, updated them and things like that. And, you know, we're in the business of, you know, dentistry is, you are a doctor, and yes, you're doing it for the betterment of health, but we're also salesmen, you know? We're also, we're selling ourselves, we're selling treatment, and you got to know how to do all the above.
Thank you.
Yeah, I gotta add to that, like, cause I remember my first application too. I mean, I got an interview, I think March, right during finals, and I was like, 2014.
Was this
yeah,
Utah?
It was 2000. Yeah, this was Utah. It was like
Roseman?
Roseman, yeah.
I went with Andrew on that trip.
Yeah, she went with me and prepped me for interviews the whole night.
Bootleg prepper.
Yeah, you already know it's very late. There's a super low chance, but I mean, experience is experience, right?
Yeah.
Getting that experience in that interview sort of motivated me to you know, try to get more interviews later on, and it sort of prepared me better. And don't get discouraged by any interviews. Even if you think you bombed it, you have no idea what they are thinking. Well, I went to NYU for an interview, and they told me that I was not going to get into any California schools, any of the top schools I applied to. I didn't apply to many top schools, but any of the harder schools to get into. And he was like, yeah, you'll probably get into NYU like third round or whatever. And I ended up not getting into NYU. UCSF ended up waitlisting me, and I ended up getting into Louisville in Kentucky. So then I was really thrown off by the interview at NYU. Just somebody straight up telling you that you can't do it. You grow up with that, going to, you know, certain teachers that are like that. I'm not saying all teachers, but there are certain people in your life that have that, not negativity. It might be more realistic in their sense of view, but they have no idea what's going to happen. And don't let that dictate what you are going to do in the future. You apply. UCSF was a reach school. I didn't think I was going to get in, you know, and I ended up getting in late in April or May. But, you know, getting in is getting in. Any dental school you get into is the right dental school for you. All right. If you have choices, good on you. All right. But if you have one dental school you get into, well, guess what? We're all going to be dentists, right? We're all going to be doing the same thing. And come, you know, nobody's going to ask you where you graduated from. And that's what it matters, you know, doing it for you. If it's far away from home, but you finish and you're a dentist, you can move wherever you want, right? So there's small sacrifices, and just believe in yourself. Don't you can drown out some of the noises out there, some of the haters.
Yeah. Realistic is what you make it. You know, no one can say what realism is until you create it. And and I've had, especially when I got into school, I had so many people telling me, why don't you just give up? You already applied twice, you know, so much money. You're not going to get into UCSF. Like, I heard that too, you know, and no one knows because they haven't been in that position, you know?
I remember when Andrew told me he got into UCSF, I think he was in Taiwan at the time, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
And he was like in denial. And Because the whole time he was like, I'm not going to get into UCSF. I'm not going to get in.
And imposter syndrome is real.
It's so
Okay.
real.
Or so real. I mean, like, I'm pretty sure half our class had more than half our class had imposter syndrome, just because you're fighting so hard to get into the school.
And those people
we're
telling you
finally
like
there.
you're not going to make it.
Yeah, exactly. So don't be discouraged, and don't feel like you're an imposter, because come now, me and Rubin are fine. We failed in dental school so many times, but dental, yeah, for sure. We all remediated something. And failure is part of the process, and don't be afraid to fail.
Absolutely.
So my next question is more specifically about your dental school experience, right? So most dental schools, unless they're accelerated programs, are often 4 years, right? Can you talk about how these 4 years are often divided up specifically to UCSF's scenario, and also like on the other side, like how has COVID-19 impacted that trajectory so far?
So can you ask that again? What, like,
yeah, so the first part, I know they're two actually kind of separate questions, but the first question is more about how is UCSF dividing its 4 years?
Okay.
So like how is each year organized? When do you start clinic? Things like that.
Got it. So first 2 years is basically all didactic work, meaning you're in the classroom, you're in anatomy lab. First quarter is really big on anatomy, dental morphology. Then the second and third quarter, and pretty much the second year is just like all classes in a simulation lab. Second year is definitely all simulation lab, a little bit of classes. So it kind of takes you from
what exactly is a sim lab?
Simulation lab is basically it's rows of dummy heads with plastic teeth, and that you learn everything that there is to learn on. And basically every class session they'd have like, like an assignment or something you had to do, like different sorts of procedures, and that was literally your life. Third and fourth year is when you enter the clinic, summertime. So first year you have a summer, then the second year, your summertime is when you enter into the clinic. And then from there, you're just in the clinic. We have classes every Friday. So it's literally, you're just getting everything you need to learn. And in the midst of the clinic and your chairs and your personal work, you have externship, which is 6 weeks total in the year. And you have all of your rotations, ortho, radio, OMFS, everything, oral med, anything with teeth or in the oral cavity, you go to at least for a week, and sometimes 2 weeks. So that's how we do the 4 years. And how has COVID affected it? Oh, that's an ongoing question. It's just a madhouse. I'm just gonna tell you,
Still affecting.
Yes. Well, we did, when everything went and they shut down everything, we just did Zoom, got all of our tests out of the way. Then we just got back into clinic last week, and so, we're just getting used to the N95 mask, the face shields, and not having COVID tests for patients before we do any aerosol producing, which is anything, for any aerosol.
Clean teeth.
Right, yeah. I did a cleaning today with no aerosols. That was like real forearm workout.
So you're like hand scraping?
Yes.
Yes. All day.
That.
2 hours straight.
Man. So, yeah, it's been effective. It's still effective.
Yeah.
And Andrew, can I ask you about the DAT is not the only exam you'll ever have to take, right? So can you tell us about the different exams you would have to take throughout dental school as well?
All right. Clearly, when I was a pre-den, I didn't do my research at all. I just thought once you get into dental school, you get the degree once you graduate. Little did I know there were boards. Boards is like first 2 years, like Rubin said, we're all learning all these like human anatomy, physiology. We're learning about teeth, learning about procedures, learning about why we're doing this, why we're doing that, learning how to read radiographs, and actually learning with our hands, but also with our minds to make these clinical decisions. The board encompasses all of that. Me and Rubin had to take a part 1 board and a part 2 board. Part 1 being all the didactic stuff that you learned the first 2 years, which is really tough with all these type of diseases we've never ever knew about existed, what they look like clinically, and it's not just related to the teeth, it's the whole body systemically, which I had no clue, dentists only here, right? No, we had to learn a lot about everywhere down here, arms, dissected everything. But yeah, so everybody here, please know that there are boards to take when you're in dental school. And I think our boards, part 1,
And they're expensive.
And they're expensive. They're like $500 each exam. And they are 400 questions. The first one, part 1, was 400 questions, 8 hours. So DAT sounds easy now. And second one was 2 days, 400 questions first day, 100 case questions the second day. Now I think they're going to be integrated. So you guys who are applying, I think it's only going to be 1 board, 4th year or 3rd year summer, whatever. But 400 questions total, I think. So I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, just because all that information is going to be condensed into 1 exam. And for us, the first exam was horrible. Second exam was horrible, but less horrible than the first. So do your research. Know there are boards, and then there are regional boards, which are on real people or mannequins, to test your hand skills. And then there's like dental ethics and law, which is hopefully probably a little easier. But there are tons more exams. So if you love exams, you'll be set. And if you don't, you'll grind through it like I did and like Rubin did. Remediation is key.
Can you explain what remediation is?
Oh yeah, remediation. Okay, so UCSF has a pass no pass system, right? It's anything about, let's give or take 70%. If you get under 70%, you're considered MP no pass. Anything above 70, even in your clinical work, which is very subjective, anything over 70, you'll pass, and you don't have to remediate. Remediation is for those who get below 70, where they either sort of try to have you become masters, quote unquote masters, or really masters in whatever you failed in. So they give you extra information and have you write like, maybe a 2-page summary on topics you missed on the exam, so you can be really be more knowledgeable about what you missed. And everybody, and probably like 90% of our class has remediated something. 95, even the smartest people. Yeah. The smartest people in our schools have remediated. It might not be didactic stuff. It might just be hand skill stuff, because there's a disconnect, but everybody eventually passes. And once you get into dental school, at least at UCSF, our atmosphere is really encouraging to the dental students itself by making sure you pass. They'll give you resources. They will set you up with other students who excel at something. And in dental school, you should have no shame in doing something bad, because everybody's learning. Some people are naturally gifted with their hands. Some people are naturally gifted with the way they talk or their speech or patient communication. Some people are, insanely brilliant in their mind and all things science, right? So there are all these different types of people. So we say remediation is key because we've all remediated something and we all failed in something. but it's all for the better, and we all work towards that goal of becoming a dentist as a class.
Failure is an opportunity to learn, to grow, right?
And I just
So
piggyback off of what he said really quick. Sorry, Julie. Like our cohesiveness in our class is really something, and also with the classes above and below, because we literally wouldn't have known anything without the just graduated class of 2020, and the class of 2022 leans on us the same way, and we reciprocate. And it's really just you know, all hands on deck. Everyone get you a solid bunch of people like I got Andrew and a bunch of other people, and so does he, and organizations that you're into, and just get close to people and don't have any shame, and just say if you need help. And it's really about just being better, not being the best.
thank you. That's good life advice as well.
Yeah, everybody helps everybody, so don't be afraid. Everybody takes like hours to help other people, you know. We just started clinic last week, so the third years, since we're fourth years now, but the third years just entered, and I mean, we were there. Me and Rubin were struggling, like
Yeah.
major struggle bus, third year summer, and the fourth years at the time really helped us. Like without them, we would have no clue what we're doing,
Right.
because there's just so much nuances that you don't know, and they only prepare you for certain aspects of dentistry. Maybe the clinical aspects of it is fine, but when it comes to the you know, dental programs, or the steps and the flow of the clinic, or flow of insurance claims and pre-authorizations we have to do, we are at a complete loss. So everybody's willing to help everybody.
Yeah, and also just getting over the human aspect. You know, you're no longer working with a dummy where you can turn their head any kind of way outside.
Break their neck.
Yeah, like you're dealing with an actual human being, and we have to like come to, you know, use more humility and just more working power, because our future in their each one of their destinies. We need them more than they need us, and they're the ones getting the dental care.
Yeah.
I was Andrew's first human patient, by the way.
Thank you.
So every patient that comes after, you're welcome. So some of the biggest obstacles that our EOP students face are the lack of academic resources and guidance, as well as financial means. So what was or is your biggest challenge as you navigate dental school?
Biggest challenges. Right now, I guess it's sort of uncertainty, because of the times. I mean, dentistry is being affected quite drastically, in terms of what we can do, especially at the school level, where there's so many levels operating, and they all have to be on the same page of what we can do, what we can't do, what the state says or what the city says. There's so many of those uncertainties that we don't know of, and that is sort of our unknowns. Loans are a big thing too. I'm sort of scared to look at my loans.
Can you tell us what the average cost of UCSF is? We want to be real here. Okay, we want to be real.
Be very real. All right. So UCSF on their website, I think when we were starting, it was $90,000 a year, about, including living and everything. So by the time you graduate, that's 9 times 4. I got a 19 in my DAT for math.
Yeah.
But that's like 360K. And that's not a small amount. And right now at this point, I have no idea how I'm going to pay it back. I just know I'm going to pay it back slowly. And I'm going to try to do as much good with the experience that I have, and all those experiences that I have received throughout dental school to try to make a dent in that. Those are some things looming over my head, but while you're in dental school, you don't think about it, because all you're thinking about is becoming a dentist. And that's a good thing. You're not trying to stress about those things right now, because they have, you know, those 20-year repayment programs. like pay as you earn. They have all these things where you can volunteer, not volunteer, but like work at federally FQHCs, federally qualified health centers, for like 4 years. You give like 4 years at a time, and they'll pay for your dental education. Or there's like Army and stuff. I chose not to do any of those. I chose to take out the full amount. I didn't get much grant or anything, but I believe that I will pay it off in the future, and our hard work will pay. Will help make a dent in that ginormous amount of debt. Yeah.
Well, to do something that you've never done, to get something you never got before, you got to do something you never done. So, I mean, we don't come from backgrounds to where we can pay out of pocket $90,000 or, so we have to do what we have to do. Yeah. For the biggest issues of me through dental school, just as anybody who, especially in UCSF, I always remember starting is like, everyone's like the greatest where they come from, So like to even talk about your past is like kind of everybody's done great. So it wasn't even a pastime. So for me, I always had to like work on my humility and my communication because, I wasn't used to purposefully struggling, I'm used to pretty much getting everything that is in front of me, and usually the reason of my downfall would be laziness. But this was actually hard. And so it really took me some time to really be able to open up and to ask for help. And Andrew just has hit me a couple of times on Facebook, just like helping me out, just being a real friend. And sometimes you just need somebody to talk to you and just tell you that it's all right. And that's why I go back again to saying that, just use your good judge of character and have some good people around you that think like you, because everybody in dental schools you're going to be associated with, you're going to be colleagues with, but when you find your real friends and the real team and real structure and real support system outside of your family is where I think you can really strive. And I'm still trying to figure that out. I'm just getting to that point,
I think it's really important about that idea of community and networking and like having friends and colleagues to support you, because dental school is such a unique experience, right? Like people outside of your world won't understand what it's like. Right. Like I'll never understand what like both you and Andrew go through every day, but you two fully understand what it's like. So yes, again, a life lesson, not just a dental school lesson.
Yeah, and me and Rubin, we still like. I mean, I think we met before school even started because we started playing basketball together.
Yeah,
with our whole team. I mean, they oh God, dental students that play basketball.
Hey, talk our stuff. We the best. Yeah. We the best team
That's
in
true.
dental school history.
Yeah.
We won the most championships.
That's true. We did win like 3 intramural championships.
Yeah, we made the championship
congratulations.
4 times.
We beat out med school and PT school and stuff.
Bragging rights.
Bragging rights.
Bragging rights.
But like like really, it's all about dentistry, and at the same time, it's all about creating connection with people that you have similar interests with. Half the team, we really bonded over playing basketball, especially like after a tough ass test case on the mannequin and failing or something. Yeah. We always went up after finals. In finals, we would used to go and play basketball all the time just to de-stress, talk shit about what we did, really de-stress all that stress that was pent up from finals and possibly bombing an exam or something. Yeah.
No, she's speaking the truth, man. We used to be waiting to go to the gym because it was like, because it's not just a test. You literally kind of isolated yourself, especially in first year, like probably a week or 4 days prior to the test being. So now you didn't come out of isolation and consistent studies of probably like 5-7 hours of what you went in on. Wasn't even on the test, So we just chose that and really got a release from that. And that's what it's really about, is just finding that release once, because you're committing so much attention and really giving all your effort and focus, and that's what it requires. But you got to
That
get
balance. Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, thank you both. I'm going to stop the conversation part of the event here just because we just passed 8 o'clock and I want to go over some of the foundation stuff of dentistry before we get into the AMA, right? So if you do have any questions, please pop them in the chat. I also have the list of questions that y'all submitted. So put together a little slideshow for all of you. So first of all, I would like to introduce Kim again. So Kim and I are both EOP advisors. So we work primarily with students on their GEs, prereqs, major exploration, all that good stuff. However, we want to be very, very, very clear. Please make an appointment to see your college or major advisor. We are not health professions advisors, just mere mortals. If you're going to ask us a very specific question about biochem, not the people to ask. We can tell you what prereqs you need, and that's basically it. Everything else, please go see a major college advisor. We do have a health professions advisor who is actually retiring, but we do have his contact information listed on the Dentistry Resource Guide in case he might be answering emails. And I'm sure they'll receive updates if they do rehire someone in that position. But again, disclaimer, just mere mortals. We're hoping that most of your questions are actually geared more toward Andrew and Rubin, so we don't make a fool of ourselves. Correct? Okay, so next thing, let's see. So if you have your laptops open, I highly recommend that you pull up a tab. We want to introduce you to the College of Science and Engineering. So we really want students to know some of the resources out there. So the College of Science and Engineering houses a lot of the majors that a lot of dental students might pursue. But again, you don't necessarily need to major in a science in order to ultimately later pursue dentistry. So first things first, once you go to their main page, click on students. Then you'll see what down here under academic resources, the Student Success Center. So if you have any questions about like petitions, GEs, major exploration, your specific, like mapping out what you want to do in the next few years, definitely make an appointment to see someone at the College of Science and Engineering. Once you click on advising, there's that button, right? You've probably seen it if you try to make it an appointment with any advisor on campus. It's literally a giant N for navigate, and schedule an appointment. So again, go see them. They are the experts. Go to them. Also, we want to let you know about the biology and biochem department, because again, these tend to be the more popular majors that pre-dental students pursue, but again, don't have to. So here, I just put their emails at the top. This is what it looks like. Their websites are pretty old school. A lot of stuff is slightly outdated, but they have a lot of good information on there. So again, I put a star next to all the categories that say undergraduate information. Okay, so prereqs, we're gonna break it down real fast. Again, Andrew and Rubin, please correct me if I'm wrong because I just learned this fairly recently. So for most dental schools, not all, most dental schools, you will have a couple standard prereqs. So you will need bio, general chemistry, OChem, and physics. So this is like mostly the default, right? However, each school does have its own requirements. So I'm going to show you a couple different schools and what their prereqs look like. First off, UCSF, where Andrew and Rubin go. You can see that their list is quite long. It actually includes a lot of other courses you might not expect, including psychology, English, social science, for instance. Here is UOP, right? Also in San Francisco. You can see that they have slightly different requirements. They also have English. They do not have psychology. UW, which is in the state of Washington. They also have quite a few requirements here. You can even see general biology and zoology. They also require microbiology. And UCLA, which has a couple other components as well. So each school has different requirements, please check them out. Do not just take the minimum and expect that you will qualify for every school that you apply to. Okay, so dental school requirements. So aside from the prereqs, what else might you need? So in general, the GPA they're looking for is around a 3.5. Again, not a hard number, but definitely you want to aim for something in that range. It does help your chances. Clinic hours or exposure, so that includes shadowing, right? So average number of hours is roughly 100, give or take. The DAT, which Rubin and Andrew talked about, the average score is around 19, maximum of 3 attempts, and your scores are only valid for 2 years. So once you take it, you want to apply within those 2 years. Otherwise, you have to retake the DAT, pay that fee again. Okay, not fun. And then when you apply, so the application process is also quite expensive, and knowing our student population, we want to make sure you know that. So it's $251 for the first dental school and $108 for each additional dental school. So it adds up, right? You will also need a personal statement, which again, come ask me for. If you need help writing your personal statement, come ask me. Letters of evaluation, which is like a letter of rec, and possible supplemental applications. Can you, Andrew or Rubin, talk about what secondaries are?
Yeah, I can speak. So when mentoring, this is great. You know, I wish I had this when I was in undergrad, but you guys, I just want to commend everyone because you're in here, and so you're a leg ahead. But secondaries, first off, let's go with primaries. It's AdSAS is a company. It's a basically a middleman where they disseminate all of your dental applications out to whatever school that you want to do in the country, and I think it's some in Canada as well.
Yes.
And then from there, this is America. It's all about money. So we gave AdSAS money, but now the school wants a administrative filing fee, which is usually anywhere from $60 to $100 per school. Plus, some schools don't ask for like application like questions, like USC. They just want money. I think NYU. I'm not sure. And then some schools you don't get the secondary unless you meet like a certain benchmark. Like UCSF sent out only sent out their secondaries to certain people, you know, that were potentially interviewing. So it's all different, but secondary is basically after you submit your AdSAS, you got to look on every single school website or on AdSAS. There should be some sort of link to take you to the school website, and it'll tell you like if the school requires a secondary, if you should already fill it out at that moment, or you should wait, or you should send money. So it's more money.
More money.
I
And
think
also
nowadays it might be integrated. I don't know. We're a little far removed from the process of
Yeah.
that, but maybe their pre-dent society.
yes, Christine, if you know.
I think they have started to integrate more than they did with us, Rubin, where we had to individually look out at every school website to figure out if there was a secondary that we had to submit, or they never look at our application. I think they streamlined a lot of it into the general AdSAS application, but I'm not sure.
AdSAS is not a great acronym.
It's not.
So for the interview portion, I know you both shared a little bit about your experiences, but can you tell us how many schools you applied to, how many you received interviews for, and how that experience kind of looked like?
All right, I'll go first. So I applied to a ton of schools. First time I applied to like 20. Second time I still applied to 20. First time.
Are you guys also calculating the fees in your head?
Yeah, this is a lot of money. I mean, luckily, like my dad wants me to be a dentist, wants me to be a dentist. So he helped me with application fees and stuff, not with tuition or anything, but this was a lot of money already in and of itself. So I had the privilege for my dad to help me out with that. So yeah, I applied 20 schools the first time, interviewed at one place in March, which was Roseman. And then second time, I applied 2 years later after I worked for a year and a half at a dental office. I didn't want to do the post-bac route just because I didn't want to do more school. I didn't know if that was a good idea. I was already trying to get into dental school, which is even more school. I always tell myself I'm not going to do any more, but who knows?
Things also
but
changed
yeah,
with COVID, so who knows?
yes, residency is another thing I'm looking at. But the second time I applied 20 schools as well. And then I interviewed maybe at 5, like USC, NYU, Louisville, UCSF, and maybe one more somewhere else.
So were these all in-person interviews?
These are all in-person interviews, but I think since the situation right now,
Virtual.
A lot of it's going to be virtual, I think. Maybe somebody else can answer that better. I don't know. But if that's the case, I think even for UCSF, I think we're going to start probably doing Zoom interviews rather than have them come to the school, because like we're already trying to limit so many people into the school coming in and coming out. It's not a good idea to have 20 fresh people who haven't been COVID tested.
Or flying if they're not from
or
like the
flying,
local area.
Yeah, with that high risk. So I think if you guys, I mean, it's already if people are applying this cycle, you might be able to put in the extra money to apply to more schools, and not worry about paying like a $300 flight to New York, or all these other expensive hotels.
They don't pay
for you.
No.
Yeah.
Rubin, can you tell us like about when you were interviewing, what some of the questions you got were?
Ooh, you're taking me back. Questions that were asked. I mean, from what I remember, it was pretty standard. Like, why dentistry? Why UCSF or whatever school that you interviewed at? They might, like, I remember Case Western asked a couple like ethical questions, like what would you do in the scenario of this, and what I've found and what seems to be the ringing theme is just be yourself. Just be prepared, obviously, but there is no perfect answer, no such thing. You just have to be who you are, because who you are got you to the interview, and there's a good chance that you're going to get in at least somewhere if you have an interview. And just trying to be someone else or trying to give a perfect answer is not the way to go. And going a little further into what Andrew said about applying to schools, 20 seems like a big number, but you got them schools where, like, those are your fall throughs. You got your ones who you're reaching for, like, I really want to go to Harvard or something, but it's your future, don't hold yourself back. But it is, if we're going to talk numbers, from what I remember, it's probably more now, about $90 a school for ad size, and that wasn't including secondaries, which were $60 to $100. So we're talking on the low end, $150 per school.
Yep.
So it's a lot of money.
I can give a little insight too, because I've been interviewing students for the past 2 years, or pre-dents the past 2 years, and what it really comes down to, where I would write a like a high level of recommendation of coming to our school, is really talking about yourself, not trying to like be arrogant or anything, but in a way where the conversation becomes very comfortable, not very forced. And I really want to get to know you. I mean, I already know that, oh yeah, you did all these science classes. You did the work to get to this point already. I'm looking at what hobbies you like, what are you going to contribute? What are you bringing to your class that is unique, and you can, like, if it's life experience. I mean, I'm biased. I know I'm biased, and they make us take all these. They make us calibrated to our own biases for the interviews. And I know I'm biased towards people who have struggled, and really persevered through the journey, because I was there, Rubin was there, and like I love those type of people who don't give up, who fight for what they want, who really show up day in, day out, and really express that, not just by what's on their resume or whatever, but by their being, by the way they talk, the way they command a room, so to speak. All these things factor in, but what it boils down to is me really getting to know you, the not dental aspect of you. Obviously, I want to know why dentistry, why UCSF, of course, but I also want to know, do you like to, go to sports game? What do you like to do in your free time? Do you like to play basketball? Do you like sports? Do you like ballet, yoga, anything that really can help me guide my mind to see who you really are, because we have, I mean, the school has your applications. It's a closed file, which means that I won't read anything in your file, but I know at that point, if you're getting an interview, that you are already academically accepted at our school. We just really want to know personality at that point. Yeah.
Thank you. So another question was about the DAT. So what exactly, for the 4 components of the DAT, right? We can see here there's something called perceptual ability. Can you tell me what that is? I don't know what that is. Was this the one with all the shapes?
Yeah. Perceptual ability is basically taking a 2D image and being able to look at it in 3D. Because you're gonna look at X-rays, and whenever you're looking at something dental-wise, it's always flipped, So if I'm looking at the left part of the mouth in the X-ray, it's going to be on the right side. So I always have to be, all dentists have to be able to, be able to spatially think, and that's pretty much what perceptual ability is.
Yeah, I think if you just do enough questions, it'll click or it won't click, and it might take a little longer to click. It took me a while to get, certain things. But I think just doing those generators, like on boot camp or something, a DAT boot camp, that's what I used. I just did generators, and they just randomly like put out 20 questions, and you just scroll through them and try to figure out why you did it wrong, and it will click or it won't, and that's what it's all about for PAT. So that's like a no-brainer set. Like you're not trying to use your brain really in the sense of holding all that academic information. That's like a sort of relax and use my brain, have some fun. Like think of it as a game, and hopefully it will help you get a high score in that.
So can you talk about, let's see, what are the different specialties in dentistry, and do they require a lot more years of school to be like an orthodontist or an oral surgeon?
You wanna hit this, Rubin?
Oh yeah, I can. So there are 9 specialties. I know they just added one of anesthesiology last year. So what is it? Ortho, oral med, OMFS, endo, peds.
Is oral radiology one?
Yes, it is.
Anesthesiology.
Quizzing on.
Anesthesiology. We're almost there.
Prosthodontics.
Pros, yeah.
I don't know what any of these are.
And then, blanked out.
Yeah, so.
General dentistry. No, I'm just kidding.
Right. Oh yeah, public health. Public health is the last one.
Yeah.
So yeah, all of them require more school. So And it's a little bit more difficult, especially that we go to a pass, no pass school. So for OMFS, they have this test. You know what it's called, Andrew?
Yeah, CBSE. It's sort of
CBSE?
like, it's sort of like the MCATs, similar to the MCATs, but it's for dental students to take in order to go to oral surgery school to go back to med school to become surgeons. Yeah.
And basically, you've got to just prove why you want to, just like any school that you apply to, you got to prove why you want to be, this specialty. And, the stakes only get harder. You're dealing with the top 1% people who get into dental school, and then you're dealing with the top 1 of the 1% that want to go past dental school and do a specialty. So it's really competitive, but it's
Props
just
to
like
them.
flying to school. Yeah, right.
Props to them. General dentist here.
Yeah, serious. Because
Yeah.
oral surgery is what, 6 to 8 years or something, 4 to 6 years. Or
4
something?
to
In
7 years or
addition
something.
to general dentistry?
In
In addition,
after you get out of dental school.
because you got to go back to med school.
Yeah,
Oh my
And do
God.
residency.
and do residency.
And ortho is, I think, 3 years. Is it?
3 years. Pediatrics is 3 years. Some places is 2 years. Endo is what, 1 year?
I think 2 years.
But
I think at
endo,
UCSF it's 2 years. No?
yeah, but endo for doing root canals as a profession, 9 times out of 9, you won't get into an endo program straight out of
Straight
dental
out.
school.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Normally, they want you to do a general practice residency or advanced dentistry residency or work to get into that particular one. So there's all types of like hoops to jump through for all of the different 9 disciplines that there are. And usually it's a minimum of 2 years more, except, yeah, specialty is 2 years because just a residency is 1 year.
Yeah.
And is dental school like medical school where you do a residency program?
Go ahead, Andrew.
So it's optional. If you think, man, like you are the best. You are a hand god. That's what we call them. If you're a hand god and you just like, oh yeah, you crank out fill-ins, like you do them, finish them in like 15 minutes or whatever. Prep, take the cavity out, fill it in with composite. Yeah. Those people who think they are ready, they can opt not to do it. They just have to take like the regional boards and get licensed in order to start practicing right away. Other people choose to do residencies. Like me, I'm thinking about, I'm not sure yet. I'm obviously a general dentist, like I said many times. I'm either gonna go straight out. I don't think I'm a hand god or anything, but I think that I always thought from the beginning I wanted to go straight out, but now since the times are changing and everything, a residency in advanced education in general dentistry, or what's GPR stand for? General practice residency.
Yep.
Those might be better options at this moment, just due to the environment and really getting that experience to do all the bread and butter stuff of general dentistry that I missed in the past 4 months.
Right. And just to piggyback off what he said, just as I told you all, you got to use college for what you actually want to do. You got to do the same for dental school. The end goal is your career and the betterment of your life and, your fiscal outcome. And how do you get there? So, if I'm going to do a residency, what am I going to get out of this? Because what am I going to do? Am I going to be an associate, meaning I'm going to just work part-time at a couple of different offices? Will they actually care if I have that residency, or am I going to do that to do something more? So you got to really I recommend the book Laws of Power, 48 Laws of Power. Plan all the way to the end, because I had this struggle for a while too, because for the longest, I took 3 years, 3 attempts. It's always getting into dental school. Now I'm starting to formulate that plan of what's the life of dental school after that, and you got to figure that out before and not after.
Yeah, don't be like me and Ruben, man. Like we had no idea. Like we just thought dental school was
Oh,
just the end all be all. But
right?
there's so many things that so many hoops we had to jump through. Like what are we still
Mhm.
doing now? Uh,
Yeah,
there are a lot of hoops, and the more informed you are, the better decision you will make. Don't You can learn from Ruben and my mistakes of jumping straight into dental
absolutely.
school, not knowing what the hell we're doing. I mean, we're here, but like we took
Hmm.
like a path like this, and where your path can be a little, straighter than ours. Yeah,
Absolutely. And that's what mentors come in. You know, you want a
yeah, for
mentor that's
sure.
5 years older than you, 10 years older, some that are 20 years older, because
Yeah,
they've been there.
yeah, they all have different experiences at like by their age range also. So like you really try to tap into that, and I think we put our emails up at the end, and feel free to like
Contact
contact
us.
us.
Go for it.
Yeah.
Go
We'll do our
ham.
best to, yeah, we'll do our best to respond. And like if I knew all this stuff as a junior in undergrad, man, I would have probably made some different decisions, like in terms of how I'm gonna apply. I probably wouldn't have applied my senior year and get rejected. And I probably would have waited and tried to build more, and really understand the process of it. Um, but sometimes you just throw yourself in the deep end and you learn to swim. And I'm good with that. And it's taken me here, and it's taken Ruben here too. And we're just happy to give back always. Like if if somebody offered me a resource of themselves back then, I would absolutely try to take that and capitalize on that.
Please
Right.
email them, y'all. Please email
So
them.
feel free,
Yeah, email,
honestly.
please. I'll put my
Yes,
email
email.
on the Google Doc, so please email.
Yeah.
And the last question is about your clinic or shadowing experience that you did before you applied to dental school, because that was a very common question that students were asking, like, how did you start getting those opportunities? Where do you even begin looking?
I'll take this one first.
Yeah.
So back to what I was saying, when I joined the dental post back,
Can you
I
tell
didn't
us
have
what a
much
post
of it.
back is first? Sorry. I feel like
Okay,
a lot of students might be interested in that as well, and you are the perfect person to ask. So
absolutely. So post back program is basically a program if you want to do if one of two things. You want to do a career changer, meaning like you was working to be an engineer or a nurse, and now you want to switch gears and be a dentist or a physician or something like that. It does it. Or if you're like me, didn't have no direction and not the appropriate grades, they give you mentorship, upper level science classes, um, um, what else, like application help, like anything that comes with trying to get into dental school.
Interview
Uh,
help.
yeah, yep, all literally everything. And you threw me off. I don't even remember what the main question was now. We went into
like shadowing, like where did you get your
oh,
shadowing or clinic experience before you applied to dental school? Those like 100-ish hours.
okay, yes, yeah, and it's got to be 100, honestly. But where
Sorry, y'all.
yeah,
100
it's
hours.
it's gonna go back to like the mentoring aspect. Like I did the dental post back at SF State, and they paired me up with two different dentists that I assisted with, and they wrote me my letters of recommendation, and I just fostered a relationship with them. You know, a thank you card, appreciate you email will take you so much further than what you really think. Going into the mail, getting a stamp, and just taking that time to just write thank you. You don't know how that is going to do positively for you. You know,
Little goes a
um,
long last way.
Mhm.
really. So, and it's literally no work. So, it's just basically being in that position and being able to network and then just using the most out of it.
Yeah. I know there are a lot of opportunities, at least at like when I was in Davis, the pre-dental society there. They always posted like jobs. You know, you could either, I mean, general dentists and specialists are actually always looking. I don't know if I should say this, looking to mentor and have cheap labor at the same time.
Being real here.
But it's true. Yeah, it's true.
Right.
Cheap labor, and you get the benefit of all that experience, all that knowledge. And the dental community is pretty small. It's smaller than you think. So
Oh, yeah.
that once you know one dentist, if you like, for example, I worked at a periodontal office, specializing in gum disease and stuff. But he knows so many dentists as well. Like if I wanted to shadow, I asked him, I was like, can I shadow one of your friends at like a orthodontic practice or a general dentistry place? So like really find out that, and you'll learn the dental field is so small that everybody knows everybody more or less, and everybody's willing to help, because like we were there not that long ago, and no matter, you know, as we age and we get older, I still feel like, you know, I graduated high school like 4 years ago, but it's not true. It's like 10 years now. The time doesn't really, we'll always feel like we just graduated from dental school, and we're always willing to give back. And I hope that like fire in us is always there. I mean, it's sort of giving forward, right? Like you always pay it forward. My bad.
Pay it forward. Mm-hmm.
Pay it forward, for the better of the profession, and better for betterment of society. Because our goal is to, you know, sort of help everybody, teach everybody about oral hygiene, oral health care, because so many things of these, so many cavities can be prevented, so many like root canals can be prevented,
Right.
just by that little education, of like brushing your teeth and flossing. It goes a long way. I mean, some people can avoid it because of genetics and stuff, but like 90, you know, like the other like 80%.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's more often than not, like they just don't know. And once they do know, once you connect with that patient or person, you really, they'll start to understand, and they'll be like, oh man, I wish I knew this like 40 years ago, you know, but now it's too late. It's never too late. That's what I always tell my patients. It's never too late. I have like 80-year-olds coming in, 90-year-olds coming in. It's never too late to change that habit and do the best for yourself, because ultimately it's for you. It's not for me. It's pretty much for them to have that life that they want.
Beautiful.
All right. So we're going to finish our event here. Thank you so much to all the speakers. You both were fantastic. I really encourage all the students here to reach out to them. Like, please reach out to them. If I was a pre-dental student, I would be like, you know, screenshotting this resource page, but also making sure I connect with both Rubin and Andrew. We're still hoping to ultimately do that dental school tour down the road once everything is post-COVID. We definitely want to create these opportunities, because we know that for so many people in our program, like a lot of this access was not available, right?
Yeah.
So facilitating that access is of super high importance to us. So that's why like this AMA series was something that I really wanted to put on, and of course to invite like Andrew Rubin to come. So again, please ask a lot of questions, email them, go talk to a major advisor, go talk to a college advisor. If you need interview help, we have the Career Services Center. Come ask me about personal statements, anything. Like, make sure you know that there are so many resources out there, but you also have to take that step of reaching out, right? So again, thank you so much, everybody, for coming. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
And I hope you all have a good night.
All right. See you
You had a
tomorrow.
question. The other, Noe? Sorry, did I butcher
Noah?
his name? Noah? You had a
Oh,
question
oh
for us, right? Yeah.
my, it was